Yes, Miitopia jobs. Something that I talked about way too much on this channel. While I've made a job analysis on most jobs in the game, and I've even made a job ranking, I've never gone out of my way to just go and say, hey, here's the best skill, or hey, here's the worst skill. So you know what? Here's the day. I'm finally going to do it. Even though nobody asked for this, and I'm kinda running out of video ideas for this goddamn game. Whatever. Let's get started. And starting off with easily one of the hardest ones on this list, Warrior. It's my favorite job in the game, and I think it's the best one, so its best skill was obviously really difficult to choose, but I went with Dark Eye Slash just because it's always consistent and hits like a truck. Its drawback doesn't really affect it at all. And then, also, honorable mention to Super Snap Benefit, that's also pretty damn good. Revive on a Warrior of all jobs is very stupid, but hey, I'm not complaining. And then for the worst move, I'll go with Spin Slash. It just doesn't ever do much damage, and it's just a disappointing AoE move. Next up is Mage, which is really easy, even though it's a top tier job. Its best move is Barrier, just because it just removes its problem having no defense. And then the worst ability is easily Sleep Tight, just because it wastes 2 turns for no fucking reason. Just get a different healing source, man, it's not that difficult. Next up is Cleric, which is actually really hard because it doesn't really have a bad ability at all. I think the best one's Giga Panacea just because of its insane healing. But for the worst one, I'll easily give it to Cure. And by the way, that's not a bad ability. It's just that it's the first one, and it just kind of falls off quickly. So, yeah, it just unfortunately is the worst. Next up is Thief, where it's actually kind of hard because all of its moves are kind of shit, besides Rocket Rain, which is the best one. It just does a lot of damage, which is quite shocking for Thief of all jobs, but its worst is easily Pilfer. What a waste of a turn. HP Bananas aren't really that useful, just use other healing sources, and getting one? Really? Why use this? And why does the AI love to use it so much? It is such a worthless ability, man. Next up is Popstar, which is kinda easy to decide. It doesn't really have any too bad abilities. Actually, never mind, I just remember what the worst one was. The best one's easily Angelic Voice. This may or may not be influenced by my Tower of Despair run, but man, is the multi-revive so busted. And then, yes, the worst is Love Song. It's just so useless. Just get high relationship levels and you will never use this ability again. It's such a waste, and the AI spams it for no fucking reason, just like the other worthless moves at the bottom that I usually pick. Next up is Chef, which is actually very difficult. It doesn't have any standout moves per se, so I can't really pick any. For the best one, I'll go with Feast, because it's just a nice clutch AoE heal. And then for the worst, I'll go with Monster Dinner, just because one-shot moves aren't really that useful unless you spam the fuck out of them. Next up is Cat. The best ability is easily Feline Frenzy due to its insane damage, and the worst is easily Grub Steal, which is just slightly better Pilfer. No need to repeat myself. That was a speed round, goddamn. Next up is Scientist, which has a very interesting catalog of moves to say the least. For the best ability, I'll give it to Black Hole because of how much huge AoE damage it does. And the worst is probably Ignite, which is kind of crazy because it's still a decent move. It just happens to be the bottom of the barrel for me. Next up is Imp, and I would have given a different answer a couple months ago, but the best ability is Sweet Whispers. I never realized just how busted this move was until I used it on my half jobs run. It's so fucking good. And the worst ability on Imp is Butt Jab, yet another overspanned AI move that doesn't accomplish much. Next up is Tank, which is quite difficult to decide a best move because of how limited it is. Tank does not get many moves for some reason, I don't know why. But I guess I give it to Ultra Razor, which is just some nice AoE damage. And yes, that's really the best ability, which is kinda sad. For the worst, I'll give it to Wild Shot due to its inconsistency and low damage, and just because it can piss off your teammates sometimes. Next up is Princess, where it's interesting because I don't really play this job at all, and I think all the abilities are on par with each other. For the best, I'll go with Ultimate Royal Wave due to its big damage, but Blindfold is honestly also good, and you can honestly go with that. For the worst ability, I'll go with Regal Dance, which is just a better earworm, which is just the second worst Popstar ability. And finally, well actually not finally, I have 2 more jobs left, idiot. Next up is Flower, where the best is by far Mega Flower Bed. Yes, AoE heals are that good, I've kind of been glazing on the whole video. And the worst is Flower Power, because do you really need a Mii to be angry for some reason? It's just another overspammed AI move, but I think it's the worst defender of the bunch, just because, like, if you try having a Flower AI on your team, you'll see what I mean. Red Link was a decent teammate until he got Flower Power and started to spam the fuck out of it. And yeah, we're already here. Next up is Vampire, where I'll go with Bat Tornado as the best, because it just does so much damage, and I'll go with Bite as the worst, because it does no damage, but I think you can go with Scorching Breath as the best if you really want. And finally is Elf, where the best shouldn't even be a question, because 4 stages is right there, dude. But the worst is quite interesting, because Elf doesn't really have any interesting moves besides Hail of Arrows and Force Dangerous at all. But I guess I'll go with Counter Arrow, just because it gets unlocked so late and just doesn't really do all that much. It's just a damage dodge and then does like 40 damage in return, not all that useful at all. And that's all the Jaw's best and worst skills. This is just my opinion, because you could really go for anything for some of these jobs, and I could be wrong about specifically the RTF jobs, because I don't really play them that often, and maybe even Thief 2, but to be fair, they're kind of ass. Why would I use them, besides Princess maybe? But overall, I think Miitopia is still very creative with the jobs. While some moves are pretty bad, there isn't a job with the game with no useful move, which is quite impressive. Even if Thief has one, which is really crazy to think about. Anyways, that's the end. Thanks for watching. Peace.